Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Radically Real. We did take a little bit of a hiatus. I took a little bit of a break from multiple interviews a week, multiple posting every week. I just took a little bit of a break. So we are back in action now, and I'm very excited to have Christine Peine. Did I say it
Yes,
right?
perfect.
Oh,
Yes, you
okay.
did
I thought
well.
I just right before we hit
Yes.
record, I was like, I'm gonna fuck it up. I already know I'm gonna fuck it up. We met in a business mastermind, and I'm really excited to have her on today. So, Christine, tell everybody who you are and what you're up to.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to be here. Well, in a very brief nutshell, I work with the subconscious very, very deeply, mainly with entrepreneurs. And through the work I do, I help them to heal chronic health issues, acute health issues, but also make more money. Because in the end, these blocks that create our health and that also create like the blocks that make us grow, usually they're the same once you go into the subconscious and once you look at what's really happening inside.
Yeah, and you had reached out to me about coming on, which I loved, and I love a go-getter. And you were watching the Courtney Colson episode.
Yes.
How messed up is that?
Well, it just I think it again shows how messed up not only the system. The system already is messed up enough, but I feel like how much we need to label people and put people in a box and then make them feel bad about like wanting to be themselves, which I don't know, for me is crazy because when 2026, shouldn't we like just accept everybody as they are and whatever they want to do and be like, well, this is fine. Like I can put my energy into more positive things.
For sure. And I think there's definitely a fine line with that, because with that particular episode, her therapist was affirming her identity as a robot. So I think there's definitely a fine line in maybe seeking therapy before you want to identify as a robot.
Yeah. I have my own opinions about therapy. I think there are some great therapists out there, and I think therapy can do well for you in a certain stage of your development. But I feel like depending on who the therapist is, they can also mess you up a lot more,
Yeah,
or they can keep you
clearly.
stuck in the same cycle of like talking about the same thing again and again and again, and you're still doing the exact same thing, and you're thinking you're doing all of the work, but actually it's not doing anything.
No, and I think that I believe that that's by design, because I have a client that's a child therapist, and she is told by the higher ups, well, now you have to say this, and this is all you can say. Like if she has a kid that comes in and identifies as 87 different genders or whatever, every week it's a different gender, different name, different, she has to affirm them. By law, that's what they have to do. So if you think about just that small sector, what else is happening in the health industry or
No, the pharma industry, also the medical device industry, it's crazy. Like what we've built as humans is not there to help us anymore.
I know.
I think yes, maybe if you break your arm and yes, you need the operation and even that, that was I think 8 years ago. I broke my foot. I was in Bali. I broke my foot. And of course, I went to the hospital, all the things that you do. They x-rayed it and they said, yes, it's broken, but it's broken in such a good place that we don't need to do an operation. But you cannot, under any circumstances, for the next 6 weeks, put any pressure and weight on this foot. And 1.5 weeks later, I went, it literally was like in a movie. I went to this healer in Bali. Actually,
Yeah.
I wanted to get my future read, do the tarot reading, because I was
Yeah.
in Bali, what I'm going to do here.
Yeah.
But then turned out this guy actually was healing people. So he looked at my foot, with just looking at my foot, he was like, it's broken here and here, let's fix it. And then he did something. I passed out. I don't know what he did while I was passed out. And afterwards, he was just like, go walk. You're fine. And it was 1.5 weeks later. And of course, my mind was like, I don't know. Am I going to trust this guy here sitting on the floor with his long beard like you see in the movie? And I walked and I was fine. And I did an x-ray afterwards and my foot was fine. So even that, broken bones and there's so much more that we don't want to share, that we don't know about health, about the body. And the system is just designed to keep us connected to taking a pill or in a diagnosis. Already when you look at healing a chronic disease, you never say in the medical field you healed it. You say this person is now in remission. Remission means for your brain, you can always go back, you can always get a flare, but even a medical field can't acknowledge, well, you're healed. I mean, that's also by design.
Well, yeah, because it keeps them dependent on the system
Exactly.
and
Which then
coming
can
back
make more
to the
money.
system. Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Well, and like you look, I mean, if you really want to dive deep into some rabbit holes and you look at
Yeah.
different treatments for like cancer and like there's so many other things, it's kind of terrifying what you find.
Yeah. It, yeah. And I mean, I feel like already logically, like if we go into cancer, logically, if you think about it, we all know how powerful the mind is. Like you
Mhm.
just need to look at like some person in high professional sports that are doing like things where you're like, wow, how can this person even do it? Okay, of course, through the power of the mind. We know
Yep.
this. And
Yeah.
now imagine you go to a doctor and this doctor says you have cancer, you're gonna die in 6 months. I mean, I don't care what the studies say. The likelihood that you will die is so much higher because our subconscious believes this person in the white coat in front of you because it's like, well, if the doctor says that, I'm gonna die.
Then I'm
And
dying.
most
Then I'm
people
dying.
don't exactly. And then
Yeah.
this is what's gonna happen. And most people don't have the programming or the power to say no. I don't care what you're saying. So it's not gonna be my path.
Yep. Yep. And I find like even if they do, they still end up in a system that breaks them anyway. I mean, let's be honest, like some cancers are going to kill you. That's just what it is. But I think your mindset does have a lot to do with how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, with everything, with every healing. I mean, when people come to me and they have something chronic and doctors told them this can't be healed, like this is the first thing to overcome. Like the thought that you can never heal and that this is what you need to have now. And only then you can actually go into a proper treatment of finding, okay, what is actually the root cause of this issue, this condition, so that it can be healed.
Yeah, well, they don't want to get to the root cause.
No, they don't. They don't. I
Yeah,
mean,
they don't.
it's a lot easier to be like, well, I think we're gonna give you this pill. Just take it and come back in a few months and see.
Well, that's why I think like that's why I speak a lot about trans and kids. I talk about it. I do talk about it, and I think that like we're going to see this wave of detransitioners come through the medical system, and when we look at that system, it's like instead of finding a psychotherapist or a therapist that doesn't affirm and really get to the root cause of what's causing this issue rather than being like, oh yeah, let's just just give you a bunch of hormones and cut your tits off and you know yeah, now you don't have a penis, and then you have people with trans regret. But that's a
Yeah,
perfect example of the system taking advantage of people that are vulnerable, that aren't
yeah.
fixing their minds. I mean,
And
it's
I
what
mean,
it
a lot
is.
of the time, exactly. And a lot of the time, you don't even know. Like I remember, like when I gotten sick chronically sick the first time, I was like 10 years, maybe 9 years ago. I
Yeah.
didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, even though, like, I would consider myself smart enough, but it's like, like, no one taught me this. My parents certainly didn't
Yeah.
teach me this. Like, my friends certainly neither. So, yeah, like, what do? You believe what the doctor says because they studied for so long, so they need to know.
Yeah, yeah, and so would you say that that situation in Bali sort of, like, changed your mindset around medical practitioners?
Think I don't know, from a young age already, I was like, I had this idea in my mind that it just can't be true. That we have chronic diseases and we can't heal it. Like I don't know, like something inside of myself was like, I don't believe this. Even though like of course I was still like going very much with the current and like going to doctors and doing the things, but there was like this little part already that was like, I don't know, it doesn't seem right. And then I had more and more experiences and learned a lot more. I feel like what happened to me in Bali, in that moment, I tried to rationally explain it with my mind and just, I don't know, like be like, maybe he didn't do anything, but maybe my foot was not as broken as they thought it was. You know, like kind of like trying to rationally make sense of it, like in the medical system still.
Yeah.
And then I think only later after that, I mean, also then I was like diagnosed with IBS. I had burnout at one point, and then there were like just so many things that were popping up
Mhm.
where doctors, they're just like, well, this is what you have. Here you take the pills. Good luck. And then I was like, no, I'm not gonna accept this. Like quite literally, I'm not gonna accept this for myself. And the more I started to learn about the body and about healing and disease and that actually like the diseases and everything that's popping up in the body is the body just trying to communicate something with us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the more we get into these messages and understand the root cause, we can actually start healing anything. And as soon as I started to heal myself, I was like, okay, holy shit, like this works. And then I started
Yeah.
to meet more people that healed things where you're like, wow, like I don't know how they did it. So kind of like I feel like that moment in Bali was important, but I wasn't aware or not ready enough yet to let like the medical system and the truth of the medical system go.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is crazy. I would assume you follow Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yes.
Of course you do. I mean, he talks about that, right? The power of the mind and the power of healing and like I don't want to discredit like I do believe of course some people do need, a medical professional. I definitely don't want to say don't go to the doctor and just sit there and think about like, you definitely don't want to do that. But I mean, I think that there is more to be said about the power of the mind than people are willing to admit. And I think what people don't realize is that everything that we're being fed in the media, by doctors, by just all of it is designed to keep us like fat, sick, broke, disconnected from yourself, disconnected from God, soul, source, whatever it is that you believe. It's all designed to keep us fucking sick.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. 100%. No, 100% with
yeah,
everything.
with literally everything. And I think the people's reluctancy to see it was very sad.
Yeah, I feel like it's also a lot of, I mean, they're doing a very good job of creating a lot of fear of even like thinking outside of the box.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
mean, if you're like stuck inside of that box and you have this fear and you have like all of these beliefs inside of yourself that you might not even be aware of, that you lose your family, your friends, that you lose all of the things if you step out of this designed box for you,
I
then it's
mean,
very hard to overcome that.
because you do.
Yeah.
It does happen. Like, I mean, it
And it's
does happen.
important, and I feel like we need to be more for whom it happens. But I'm like also like on some level I can rationalize why some people are staying in the box. Doesn't
For
mean that I
sure.
can make like sense of it because I'm
Yes.
I can't stay there. I couldn't stay there, but like I can rationalize how like and how well the system is designed. It's not that they started last year. It's like they've done this for a long, long
Oh my
time.
God, forever. They've been
So
doing
yeah.
this forever. And I think I th- I I understand why people stay in the box, and I understand when you color outside of the lines, and I know this firsthand is that a lot of people drop off. And you can decide, like it's a decision. It's like you can decide to like, oh, I shouldn't do whatever you're doing because you want those people in your life. But it's like, would I want people in my life that like wouldn't accept me for being 100% honest with everything? And I found is like putting that radical truth out into the world brought like 70,000 followers on Instagram. So like way more people when you really like speak your truth and you're not afraid to like draw a line in the sand will resonate with you than if you're full of shit and
Yes. Yeah.
pretending to be someone that
100%.
you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like this critical moment once you start stepping outside of the box that you're like, okay, well, everybody who can't come with me, goodbye. Thank you for being here. And all of the new people that are so much, and I realized this myself in my own life. Like a lot of people, like, I mean, I'm from Germany. I left Germany a long, long time ago, but I almost have no friends there because the mindset that the people from my school or from university, it just doesn't align with me anymore. And I'm fine
Yeah.
with that. But I met
Yeah.
so many more people that are like, yes, I actually want to be friends with you. I want to
Yeah,
connect
cuz
with you because we're
yeah.
sharing the same values. Yeah.
Yeah, same values, and that was, like, one of the biggest reasons why I decided to just, like, go I guess I call it my salty cunt era on the internet because I was, like, so done with like, I just wanted to connect with like-minded people, and same with this podcast is connect with like-minded people, connect with people that have similar values to show people that your people are out there, and you could have the opposite views, and you can express those, and your people will show up, like, it's just what it is. If you're radically authentic, you're magnetic. And the more authentic you are, the more connected to yourself you are. And that's what you need if you're going to like grow a brand, grow a business, like whatever the case is. I know, like, when I opened my first brick and mortar business in 2013, I lost so many friends,
Wow.
so many friends. Just because when you're in business for yourself, I mean, and I was always into like personal development and getting better and doing more and making more money and, all of those things. I lost so many friends. I remember I went to Tony Robbins by myself in 2019 and people were making fun of me. I was like, "Well,
Wow.
that's a dumb fucking thing to make fun of someone for." Um, because when you wanna do better, be better, and show up authentically, it just really rubs people the wrong way. The wrong people. It rubs
The
the
wrong
wrong
people. Yeah.
people the wrong way,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
it's usually the people that are unhappy with their lives. Maybe they don't even realize how unhappy they are. They're so afraid to step outside and they're like, well, if I can't do it, no one else
Yeah,
can do it. So let's
yeah.
criticize them. And that makes me feel better. Yeah.
That's exactly it, right? And then it's like when you look at people that color outside the boxes or think a little bit differently or free thinkers or, whatever, people that talk about conspiracies, which are 99% truth at this point, people are like, they're crazy. There's something wrong with them. I'm like, yeah, I guess following the herd's not crazy though, hey?
Yeah. 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 And I mean, we always like, it's like if you look back in history, even like always when a new current, a new conspiracy formed, in the end, then people like at one certain tipping point, people have just followed it because it made so much more sense than the current status quo. So
Well, and
I
I
just
think
feel like, yeah.
when we look at what's happening, say in the media and propaganda and all of this stuff, and we look back at history and we're like, well, what the media is saying like doesn't really make sense if we look at like what like people that actually lived it are saying. Who's telling the truth? I'm gonna say it's probably not the media.
Most likely. Most likely not. No.
The media. We
Yeah.
have the CBC, so the Canadian Broadcasting Channel, but they're funded by the government.
Well, of course they're gonna tell you all of the truth. Yeah,
Yeah, they're definitely gonna tell you the truth
definitely. Yeah.
all the
No.
time. They're not going to
Oh,
not tell you the truth. And like media manipulation is a real thing. And that's how like it's like, you ever see those commercials for like some kind of medication and it's like these people and they're all like it's like an IBS commercial and people are like living their best lives cuz they're on whatever the fuck the name the drug is and everyone's having the best time and the commercials captivating and blah 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 it's so funny and then at the end it's like may cause serious harm to your bowels and death and suicidal thoughts. You're like
like these
I
commercials.
thought they were living their
For
best
me, it's
life.
yeah, yeah. But these commercials, for me, it's completely crazy because in Europe, it's prohibited to advertise drugs. Like you
Oh,
don't see commercials on TV about drugs. The
okay,
only things that can be commercialized a little bit on TV is like OTC, but there's
okay,
very strong ways on how to do that. But like anything that the doctor has to prescribe you is completely prohibited.
that's
So like
crazy.
when I heard the first time that like in the States and Canada, this is like the thing. And I remember the first time going to the States and even like you see the big banners of like the medication. I'm like, what is this? Like you should like I honestly at this point it's like as if someone would be and I don't know, like put like a poster of drugs, but like not drugs in terms of like medication, but drugs that you're taking. I don't know, you put a panel of heroin.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like for me it was completely crazy. So yeah. No, it's
In Canada, they give you drugs at safe consumption sites, like actual drugs.
even like the prescription ones.
No, I'm talking like drugs. So they have
Okay,
here
to help you get off the drug.
I wouldn't say that. I think people think that that's what they're doing, but to me, it seems more like enabling. Because if the people are going to the safe consumption sites to get the drugs like every single day, and if they OD, they give them whatever that stuff is just to make sure that they don't die, and then they come back the next day, and the same thing could happen over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, well, I think we should just like force them to
Wow.
go to treatment instead of
Yeah.
saving their lives by giving them more drugs. That's the concept. That's the concept. Like if
Yeah.
you keep them alive long enough, then maybe they'll change their mind, but the
Yeah.
government pays for it.
Wow, I didn't know that. This is crazy. And
It's actually
what
crazy.
are the what are the drugs? Because, for example, I personally am a big fan of psychedelics. Like, not like taking them every day, but like for me, like taking some of psychedelics like in a safe way over time has expanded my mind in ways that I can't, like that nothing else could at that time.
For sure.
So I wonder, like, what are the drugs that the government
Like bad
allows
ones,
people
like
to take?
they're
Yeah,
giving them like
that's not
fentanyl and
doesn't
like it's
surprise
not
me.
it's
Yeah,
not like a psychedelic, like they're using psychedelics to help veterans. I think that's amazing. It's not like that. No,
yeah,
it's like come here, do your fentanyl, and if you OD, we'll bring you back to life. And then
yeah.
you can come back
Wow.
tomorrow and we'll give you more fentanyl. So they're called safe consumption sites and they give you drugs. They probably would give you heroin. Like it's fucking insane. And it's a government funded um project, if you will, and look them up. Look it up. Like it is,
I will. I will.
it's a real freaking thing. It's like a safe, this government funded safe consumption sites, and it's sick. It's sick. And people are like, oh, it's to save lives, and I'm like, so we're saving lives by continuing to give them fentanyl? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they could take. Maybe they need like a course of psychedelics to try and get them off. I think
Probably.
but this is
Yeah,
government funded, and to me, and the way I look at it is like that is designed to keep them dependent on the government,
yeah, yeah.
even
Wow.
for their drugs, even for their frickin' drugs. Isn't that fucking
Yeah,
insane?
wow.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. No, I know, honestly, if you look at, I think like of most, like a lot of the laws, like even that alcohol and tobacco, well, that's fine. But then, like, I don't know, smoking weed, for example, I don't know how in the States, I think is more legal now, but in Europe,
It's
it's still
legal.
like,
It's legal here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in Europe, it still depends on the country, but it's still like very much, oh my God, if you're smoking weed, it's kind of like you're taking heroin. So like, but it's fine to smoke tobacco and it's fine to like drink so much alcohol that you're like almost dying.
That's
So
insane.
it's like, if you look at the laws, it doesn't really make sense. But then if you look at how the laws were created, it's usually a big lobby, a big company that was behind that realized like, hey, if we talk to the right person in the government and maybe if we send them presents or some money, and then oftentimes you also see like that the exact, in Germany, I noticed, probably it's around the same around the world, that
For sure.
the exact same law that the lobby of some industry has proposed is word for word the same law that then the government publishes and is like, yes, well, this is the law we're gonna have now.
But hey,
Yeah.
they're telling us the truth all the time. They're telling us the truth all the time. It's like, don't question a fucking thing. But it's true, and people don't realize that those big corporations, they're the ones that are like the super elites. Those are the ones that are at the top, and those are the ones that are running the fucking show. And I don't care if I sound crazy because that's what's fucking happening. Because if you dig deep enough and you look at the history of it, like you just said, they're all at the top of the food chain.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, even you don't even need to dig so deeply anymore today. There is, I just like, I think like 2, 3 weeks ago, I watched a documentary on Netflix where they were sharing how the medical device industry in the States works
Mm-hmm.
and how fucked up like the way that they're allowing medical devices to be approved is. Because in the end, it's, yeah, and they draw all of the chains. You see exactly how the people from the medical device industry start then working in the FDA that basically gives the approval, which then after some time they go back to the medical device industry and it's like basically all approved based on what the industry wants. But
Mm-hmm.
because it has an FDA approval sign, people are like, well, it needs to be good, it needs to be helpful. But then you see all of the problems that are happening from a lot of the medical devices that we have out there. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Europe is the same. Europe takes a lot of the stuff that's safe in the States, says, okay, well, if it's safe there, it needs to be safe here too. And there's so many problems that are coming from that.
Yep, totally. I after I had my third baby, I had high cholesterol, which is normal in pregnancy, but it was like a little bit further off. Like it was further from when I had her. So my doctor was like, "Oh, I'm going to prescribe you cholesterol pills." I was like, "No, I'm not taking that." I said, "I'm not taking that." And I was like, "Just give me some tips on what I should do with my diet. I'll change my diet." So he did because I was like, "I'm not taking that." I said, "I'm not taking them." So, we all know that like cholesterol is actually not as bad as people say that it is. But um I did. I changed my diet and went back for the blood test and it was fine.
Wow. But I love this doctor that at least he then gave you a recommendation for
Yeah.
diet because
Well,
there's
cuz
other doctors that
I said,
they, I mean,
"No.
they don't know.
No,
Yeah.
and they'll push you to take it. They'll push you to take it no matter what. They'll be like, "Nope, this is the only way," and blah, 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 and people don't advocate for themselves. I'm like, "I'm not fucking taking it." So,
Yeah.
let's come
Well,
up with
good
a
on you.
game
Yes.
plan. Like, you have to advocate for yourself, and I think if something feels off and you don't think you have the right answer, you can advocate for yourself and push to get a different test, a different medication, a different something else. Like, but people are scared to advocate for themselves.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 They are. And then I mean, like, I think like what also comes in a lot of the times we know, like, if we would really listen to ourselves and if we would really like listen to our intuition, like really be in our power, like we
Mhm.
know what's good for us and whatnot. Like you
Yes.
know this. It's not that like it's just like we're taught to be so like disconnected from our body and trust the medical system, trust the doctor, trust whatever it is, everybody around you, the government, the news, instead of ourselves, and we always know best. So yeah.
I with you, and I think people don't realize that when your intuition hits, people ignore it.
Yeah, yeah, because they either don't notice that it's intuition, they're too scared to go after it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if we would just teach that in school, like listening to your intuition, listening to yourself, like learning to work with your own signs of the body, like the world will be so different.
Well,
But well,
that's where
that's
the
not
indoctrination starts. It starts in school. So,
exactly. That's
I
not
mean,
what we want. No,
that's what happens,
we
right? It's designed to
yeah,
keep you disconnected from your intuition.
yeah,
That's the whole fucking point, right?
yeah,
So, it's like that the whole point of, the media, the school system, the all like the medical system, all of it is to
yeah.
keep you disconnected from that. Oh, there's one of my cats.
Yes, I
We get
just
cats, our cats
in
show up in the
agreement.
episode. Yep, yeah. Phoenix agrees. But all of that stuff is meant to keep us disconnected from ourselves and God.
Yeah,
That is what's
that's a
happening.
whole another point. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And people, I think they're so conditioned that they don't want to see it. People ignore their
yeah,
guts all the time, and their guts are usually right.
yeah, yeah.
Trust your
Oh
gut.
yeah, trust your gut. Yeah,
Trust your
yeah,
gut. Because if you think
and
something's wrong, then there's usually something wrong.
yeah. It's like this. It's simple. In the end, it's so simple. It's not easy, but it's simple.
Well,
It's
that's exactly
very,
it.
very fucking simple. Yeah.
Well, because if you do enough
Yeah.
digging, you can see.
Yeah. And I mean, today with the internet and all the chances that we have to like look up everything is so easy. It's so easy to like once you know something's not right, like to find what could be the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people forget that just changing your mindset and your diet can literally like save your life.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what you're putting
I
into
mean,
your
not only
body.
it's like not only save your life, also like make you so much more happy, make you so much more money, like everything, like
Everything.
literally, like
Yeah.
just connect with yourself, connect with who you truly are. Also, I really truly believe for me, like I call God the creator, like connect to God the creator, whatever like you use, like this connection. Like no one can take that away from you. And that's always like where the best answers for me come from. If I don't know something and even if like my intuition's not speaking up, if I connect to the creator and ask, like I get a really, really clear, simple answer. And then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe this goes against everything that I've been taught, but this is the thing to go for.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too is like I'll ask for a sign, ask for a sign, see if I'm, connected. And if you're willing and open to seeing it, you'll see the sign. The sign will show up. If you are open and willing to see it, it will show up. And I see so many people like just completely disconnected from themselves. And I'm just like, maybe you'll wake up one day. Maybe you'll wake up one
Yeah.
day, or you'll just follow the herd and that will be what it is. But that is, it starts in schools. It's like
Yeah,
when
no,
you
it's
said you could learn it in
definitely.
school, and I'm like, well, they don't want you to learn that in school.
Yeah. I mean, it starts like even, I mean, like the doctrination, yeah, starts in school, but like all of like the conditioning that we are supposed to overcome now, like if you look into the subconscious, like the ancestral beliefs you carry, they go back 7 generations in the past.
Yes.
So just like if you think about, I mean, if I think about my ancestors, I know like the shit they lived through, the wars, like
Hmm.
poverty, like even the industrial revolution where you're like, okay, you need to work or like like all the time. Like all of this shit got passed down to me, and
Yeah.
of course my parents as well.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, it's like you're becoming aware, so you can be the one that transforms it at
Yes,
least.
exactly. Well, and I think some of us were just born the black sheep and we were born to be the cycle breakers. Like, I truly
Yeah.
believe that. If we look at
Yes.
generational trauma and stuff like that, I wholeheartedly believe that I was the one that was meant to break the cycle. It stops at with my kids. And unfortunately, I have to carry that burden, you know what I mean? But it stops with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And because I look at, like, the relationship I had with my mom, and then the relationship I had with my sister, and then the relationship that my mom had with her mom, and her mom had with her mom, because you learn as you get older about your family and dynamics and stuff like that, and I'm like, "Oh, well, that's why my mom was so fucked up." And I don't ever wanna be that mom, and I was always, going against the grain, being the black sheep, calling her out on her shit, and I was 1000% born to be the cycle breaker. I believe it in my heart of hearts.
Yes. And it's amazing because by you being the cycle breaker and you sharing about it, you're going to encourage and inspire so many others out there to do this, like to step into the assignment that they were given of being the cycle breaker.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think, I see other parents who I never wanna judge people's parenting just because people have to parent the way that they think is the right way, but I can definitely you can see people's trauma, like, being taken out on their kids, and I'm just like, "Oh, man, like, you're obviously not healed, or like, you're not the cycle breaker."
Yeah. No, you're
Hopefully
not.
your
No.
hopefully your
Yeah.
kid turns out to be the cycle breaker, but like, you see it, you know what I mean? As a parent, you become more you're not a parent, right?
Not yet. No.
Yeah, so you start to become more hyper aware of how people are, acting and being towards their children, and then you just see things, and then
Yeah.
you're just like, "Oh, man, like, I feel sad for how you grew up because I can't believe you just said that to your fucking kid." Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you've learned that from your parents, you
Yeah.
know? And I know because I had such a horrible relationship with my mom, I was terrified to become a mom.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah. Well,
I
yeah.
I was. So I wanted to, like, make sure that my kids never had to feel the way that I felt growing up. And um because I was so self-aware of that, it makes me, like, the best mom. But
Yeah.
I feel sad for people who just couldn't not carry on that trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, I mean, I don't have children yet, but I feel like that's also one of like the reasons why I work so much on myself and why I want to like shift all of this conditioning that my parents and my ancestors have given to me because I don't want my kid to experience all of this. If I can like not pass that on, like the more I can pass on, like amazing. Because I mean, probably I'm not so hyper aware yet, but I see like sometimes I don't know, we see on the street like parents the way they're shouting at their children or like just smacking them in the face. Like the other day I saw like a dad who got completely crazy and like smacking his child like the child girl into the face and I was like
Like,
I don't know,
bro.
like in my world there is no reason whatever she did that this is okay. Like
Unless they bite
it's
you.
not.
I smacked my daughter on her hand, like, pretty good when she was little because she bit me. That's the only time it's okay.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
But you
It's
smacked her on
never
the
okay.
hand.
I grabbed her hand and I reacted, and I smacked her on the hand because I would
Yeah.
never fucking hit her in the face. I was like, "Don't you ever
Yeah.
bite me." And she bit me hard, like, she drew blood, and she never bit me again.
Okay.
She never bit me again, but yeah, I
I
gave her a
guess
good
like
smack on the
in
gave her a good
some
smack on
ways
the
like it
hand.
can work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was
But you
little,
went
right?
like boom into the face
No, of
like
course
yeah,
not. I
no.
think that's fucking
Yeah, no.
crazy. The
Yeah.
other thing I think
Yeah.
what we're seeing is, children being raised on tablets.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen all of the Instagram accounts where children are like so addicted to the tablet that if you take the tablet away, they're just screaming and screaming and screaming.
Yeah,
And it's crazy.
where they have, like,
How do you
withdrawals.
manage that? Because I also feel like it's like I mean, it's also part of our lives now. Like there's phones, there's tablets. So also you cannot like just tell your child to never have like a tablet, never have a phone.
100% you
Like
can. 100% you can. Mine don't have any. They did, and I
Okay,
took them
ah,
away. I was like, "This is fucking
okay,
crazy," and I took them away about a year and a half ago, and I never gave them back, and I'm not going to. You know,
okay.
they will be able to learn technology. It's inevitable. We did. Like, I did. I'm 44. I grew up when the internet came out. You know what I mean? So, like, I had dial-up when I was a kid for internet. You know what I mean? So, they can learn the technology when it's time for them to learn the technology. They don't
No,
need
okay,
it.
yeah.
And, people, and me too, use it like I was using it as like to distract them so I could like not deal with them for an hour or 2 or whatever the case was. And I was like, that is fucking horrible.
Yeah,
That is horrible. And then I
yeah.
noticed some like behavioral shit and I was like, I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm not doing this. So I took their iPads away. They're just hidden. They're hidden in the closet upstairs. They don't know where they are.
Don't say it too loud, or I hope they're
Yeah.
not gonna listen to the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. They definitely won't be. But I think that it takes a very strong person to
Yeah,
be able to take it away because then you actually have to be a parent like all the time.
yeah.
I don't even like you ever like you see at the grocery store, or maybe you don't, maybe it's not like this in Europe, but the people will give their kids their phone
No,
at the
I see
grocery
this.
store.
Yeah, so that they don't like want. I remember one time sawing like a mom where the child was like, "I want this chocolate, I want this," and she was like, "Here's the phone," and like to know, like not deal with that conversation of no, we're not gonna buy all of this chocolate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hands them the phone. What do you think that's doing
Yeah,
to
and
their
then
little
imagine
brains?
like exactly like what that's doing with their brains. Like all like it's like even so much easier to like condition you like so much earlier, even like with so much more. No, it's yeah,
Yep,
no, it's crazy.
I know. I know it is. And that is where it's like that is where the disconnection starts. It
Yeah,
really truly
yeah,
is. Getting these kids on tablets, on hooked on, YouTube shorts. My daughter found a way to watch YouTube shorts on her TV.
oh
And I
wow,
went in there and she was awake in the middle of the night. She couldn't sleep, so she had turned her TV on. And I went in there and she's watching YouTube shorts and she's like, I can't sleep. I go, yeah, because this is freaking TV's keeping your brain on. These freaking YouTube shorts is like, I was like, turn that shit
yes,
off. So, she
yes,
doesn't watch them anymore because I was like, if I catch you watching YouTube shorts on your TV, I'm gonna take your TV out of your room. And I am the parent that will take the TV out of the room. Like
yeah,
you're not
yeah,
watching.
yeah. I can believe that. Yeah,
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 you're not fucking watching it. And I said, that's why you can't sleep because it's literally keeping your brain on.
yeah,
So yeah, I encourage parents to get their children off of technology. I think I homeschool, right? So when it's time for them to learn the technology, they'll learn it. And the reason I know that it's okay because I grew up like in an age where we didn't have tablets. We didn't have like my
yeah,
TV had like a knob to turn like to change
yeah.
the channel. You know what I mean? So they don't need it in order to grow up and have a beautiful childhood.
No, even now. I mean, I'm 32 now, but even until I was 22, I didn't have a smartphone because I didn't want one. And then my dad was like, because he got from his company a smartphone, was like, my daughter needs to have one, and he gifted me one. I was like, okay, well, maybe now is the time. But until then, I didn't need it. And I grew up fine. And it's like, I think like, yeah, you go out into nature, you invent games, like all of the things that you can do as a child and all of the creativity that you have, it's just stopped as soon as you start to stare into the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I didn't have an iPhone until man, I got one of the first ones, but I was late to get it. I never had like a BlackBerry or any of that crap. When did I get my first smartphone? I was older, like 27 when I first got my first smartphone. And at that point, like Blackberries had been out for a long time. And I was like, I don't need a fucking smartphone. Like, same thing. All I do is text. I have the internet at home. And then we got I think it was like a 3GS, like, because that was the iPhone 3, the first iPhone.
I also didn't have an iPhone for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It doesn't freaking matter. But I didn't have one forever either. But it's scary. It's scary what it's doing to their little minds, and I think it's like it's a direct connection to bullying. It's a direct connection to like frying their little brains and disconnecting them from themselves, and it's just crazy. And I think like I noticed a huge shift in my children probably about 60 days after I took the the screens away. Now I still let them watch. They can watch a show on Netflix or something if I'm like, as long as it's not like, I approve what they're watching,
Mhm.
to make sure that it's not something that has, like, indoctrination in it or things that they just don't need to be learning about and stuff like that. But, like, I don't want parents to think that, like, you can't let them watch a show because of course you can, But,
Yeah.
I noticed a huge shift, and something I noticed, like, especially in my oldest daughter, was she said something to me one day, and she goes, "You know what, mom? Sometimes when I, like, think about something, like, I'll think about a butterfly or a this." She's like, "And then I see one." And I
Uh,
said, exactly, and I said, "Well," I said, "Yeah," I said, "That is, that's called," I tell her, "It's called manifestation," and I speak to her about how
yeah.
she connects with her intuition, and, like, if you I talk to her about those
Yeah.
things, and it's so interesting because she, like, she's aware like that, and, I think that that is a direct, um, connection to, um, the not having the screens.
Yeah, like being like, yeah, I mean, putting the focus in your mind and then also seeing, like, noticing it around because you're not constantly glued to your screen. Yeah. Yes.
Mhm, mhm.
And I mean, like, children in so many aspects, they're so much more intuitive, they're so much more aware of things.
Yeah.
Like, if we would just allow them to develop that intuition further, like the manifestations masters we could become or they could become, would be crazy. But no, like, somehow we're dialed down of like everything has to be like logically and structurally, and no, there's like your mind doesn't control your reality. And then we learn that, and then it comes like a time where we're like, okay, now we have to unlearn all of that stuff in order to like create the reality we want. It's like,
Yep,
yeah,
yep, and I think,
yeah,
like, I I always say, like, I think being an entrepreneur and being motivated and, awake, I think I have an advantage as a parent, like, I've said that before, and I don't care how it sounds, I really do think that because, my children are gonna understand how to be connected to themselves and how to, like, listen to their
yes,
intuition, and, like, that comment that she made is, like, a perfect fucking example.
yes,
You know what I mean? When she said that, I was like,
yes.
"Well, let's get into it." And letting her know like, that is a thing, and that is,
Yes.
it's important, and I think, I wish more parents knew that, and then I understand, like, a lot of parents,
Yeah.
they have to send their kids to school, they don't have, like, the means to not, but I wish more parents knew, like, the benefits of keeping them away from technology and, I mean, the system, the school is a part of the system.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, for that, you first need to be aware that it's not the best in the way it is designed right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it starts there, and I think a lot of people, I would hope that what we've learned over the last, even with the Epstein files, right? I think I would think that I would hope that a lot of people would I would hope that a lot of people would come to the realization, even just seeing that, like, what's happening in this world, and that it's everything, we're being manipulated, we're being lied to. Like, even with the Charlie Kirk assassination, like, does anyone believe the shit that they're
Yes.
spewing about that? Like, they're lying about fucking everything, and they've been lying to us since we entered kindergarten.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Well, I still have hope. I still have hope that more and more people are waking up and getting aware that this is not real. Like, that so many things are just fed to us, and like kind of like this castle in the sky is created, but it's not real. And I feel like the more of us are waking up, the easier it's gonna be to be like, okay, actually, like, what we created here is crazy and it doesn't work, and we need
Mhm.
another way.
I know, and I hope that, I mean, you're seeing a wave of, like, more people being more comfortable talking about it, and I think, I know a lot of people that think like me, excuse me, a lot of people that think like me, but, um, won't say it out loud.
Yeah, because they're afraid of what will happen if they speak about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are gonna judge me, people are gonna, I was like, I don't give a shit what people think. I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you can hate me, but I think, like I said earlier, in speaking that truth, like thousands and thousands of people have showed up to hear that. And I wish more people would be loud and proud about that, because I hope to see a wave of children, and I think they're going to come from the homeschooling communities now,
Mm.
because it's like a crazy amount of homeschoolers now. I was reading some stats the other day about, like, in 1996 it was X amount, and in 2000 it was this amount, and like in 2026 it's like millions and millions and millions of people homeschooling, and I think we're going to see a wave of people that are more aware.
Yes. Yes. No, I hope so. I really think like the world depends on it, of us getting more conscious, because otherwise, like, honestly, I mean, I'm always thinking in the positive way, but I feel like we need to accelerate our speed of how much, like, how conscious we are and how many of us are conscious to, like, with the speed of technology and everything that's happening, to get it into a direction that's actually good for humanity. Because if we miss that point, I feel like the other direction will be dark.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah.
very
And I
dark.
mean, yeah, I mean, even like with wars and stuff going on, it's like, yeah, and I mean, and, like, even in my work, I like, when you go like into the subconscious, like some of the patterns that we have, like deep down, that we're often not even aware of, that come from our ancestors, like long time ago. It's not even something that started with you, but
Yeah, it's
it's like
generational.
these exactly. It's like these patterns that create the world we live in today, that create that countries need to attack themselves, that the
Mhm.
government needs to keep us small in a certain way. It's like we live in this world because on an individual level, too many of us still believe that this is how it has to be.
Yes.
So the more conscious we're all gonna get, the more chance we have for a world where actually we can be healthy. And actually where we're not that indoctrinated with things, where we're learning how to be in our power, where we're connecting to God, the creator, the quantum field, where we're manifesting easily, where we can live in peace. I mean, it's all possible. It's
I
just
know.
more of us need to wake up and more of us need to speak their truth. Like, I don't think we can wait any longer.
No, and I think, well, I mean, that was one of my main reasons for starting to speak up and just speak about anything that I think. I'm like, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about what I believe, because I'm gonna fucking tell people. And I think more people need to do that. But the problem is, and because we're in the similar, not a similar field, but like, people are scared. Everything is
Yes.
rooted in fear.
100%.
Everything is rooted
Yes.
in fear. People are scared to speak their mind. People are scared to show up. People are scared to say what they think. They're scared to, like, put their views out there. Whatever they are, it could be polar opposite of what you and I think, because someone is going to align with that message. But they're so fucking terrified to let people see the real them. And I think that that's like,
Yeah.
if we're looking at it from like a content creation perspective, I think a lot of people stay stuck. Like, and not, I think, I fucking know that a lot of people stay
Yeah.
stuck where they are because they are afraid to, number one, have this type of conversation, that they just are, because then people will see the real them. And I'm telling you, I get messages from people that say, oh, I wish I could do that. I'm like, well, you can, you just are scared. So, like, you
Yes.
could.
Yes.
I had someone reach out that long ago and asked if my controversial opinion, like, stopped people from buying from me, and I said, "Let me ask you a question. Would you buy from me?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "You just answered your own question. Like, what the fuck? Like, asking me that question. Like, you would literally buy my offer. So why are you asking me that? It's so stupid." I mean, it's not. There's no such thing as stupid questions, but I was just like, that just shows, like, the deep rooted fear that people have to show up authentically and speak their truth. And then you have the polar opposite, where people are just like, nope, this is the way that it is. And this is how, I'm going to listen to the government, and they have my best interest at heart. It's like, they never have your best interest at heart.
But I don't know, like someone who tells me like the government has my best interest at heart, I will listen to them. I think already like we don't align. We don't align in values. I don't think we need to have the conversation even.
Please stop talking. I
Yeah.
don't, like, no. Like, it's like that girl who was commenting on my Elon Musk post about, like, girl, it's a pun, like, it's a joke. Like, now he's a trillionaire, so you can't hate him anymore because he's not a billionaire. Because that was their whole thing. Oh, I hate him because he's a billionaire, and billionaires are bad people, and blah blah blah. And some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them are. But,
But
like,
also some poor people are bad. So it's like,
yeah, but usually it's people that are broke that say that. But, like, she's totally missing the point of the post because then she's
yeah.
going on about everything, like, why it's great that he's a trillionaire, and I'm like, "I know, that's the point of the fucking post, but you're too stupid to see it," which is funny, but it's just like some people are just thick, and it's just what it is. But at the end of the day, the point of the conversation, at least now, is don't trust the government.
Don't trust the government. Yes.
They're gonna keep you fat,
I
sick,
think,
and broke and disconnected from yourself.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's the main message. Yeah.
Yeah, don't trust them. And I think that, like, the work that you do is amazing, getting people to kinda connect back to themselves and realize that they hold the power. If you could leave our audience with one message today, what would it be?
I think the message is that anything is possible for you. Like literally anything. Whether this is a healing something where a doctor told you like you will have this for the rest of your life. Like literally there's so many people that healed themselves, so this is possible. Whether you want to grow your business in a certain way that hasn't been done before, it's possible. Whether you want to homeschool your kids or like do something completely different and new, it's all possible. It's just like you need to come back to yourself, listen to who you truly are, listen to God, the creator, the universe, and just do the thing that you're told, not from the government, but that that you're told from inside of you, and like your life will explode in like positive ways you can't even imagine right now. But you
It's so
need to
true.
listen. You need to listen to yourself and then do the thing.
Right? And yeah, you
Yeah.
need to connect to yourself and realize that there's so much power in being connected to yourself. Like it's like a mother's instinct or intuition. Like moms just know, you know what I mean with their kids. It's like that little voice is that same voice that you're ignoring that's saying like you should do this and then you get scared. Like your ego comes in and tries to protect you.
Yes.
Right?
It's
And people don't
protect.
realize our
Yes.
ego was put there to protect us from, like, fucking dinosaurs. Like,
Yeah.
it's a safety mechanism, you know, it's there to protect you. It's like the ego comes in and says, "You know what? Like, it's really comfortable over here, so we're just gonna stay over here," because our brain has been conditioned to think that this is the safe place, and this is where we're gonna stay, and we're not gonna move from this place, and that's it. So don't
Yes.
try and connect to yourself because that's scary. And then you listen because comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, and no one has told you that you need to overcome the fear. Like your fullest life, your biggest potential lies on the opposite side of that ego talk, of that fear. And if you want to get there, yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
that's the fucking point.
Yeah.
That's how you can live an amazing life.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people stay stuck in their little boxes.
Yeah. Because they're afraid to be disliked, they're afraid to speak their mind, and they're afraid to do something different,
Yes. Yes.
all rooted in fear. And because the government trained your brain to be that way.
Yes, that's another point. Yeah. But now you listen to all of this, so you know now to choose
Yeah.
to not listen to the government.
Now you
I
know.
hope this is the point we brought across.
Now you know. So now you know that the government is fucking lying to you, and that's the end of the episode. That's the
Yes.
main message. That's so good. That's a good one. Okay. Tell our audience where they can find you.
Well, the easiest to find me is on Instagram. Just put in my name, Christine_Peine. And from there, I have all of the links. From there, you can text me. We can start a conversation. And also on LinkedIn, you can also find me. These two
LinkedIn.
channels.
Okay. Well, all of your links will be in the show notes if you guys want to reach out. You know, I always say at the end of every episode is message us. If you made it this far into the episode, message us. We
Yes.
want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. And before we log off here, tell the people exactly what you do.
Yes. So what I do, I mainly work with entrepreneurs, whether this is coaches, healers, service-based providers that are struggling because of their own internal bullshit to grow, to make more money. And a lot of the people that I work with, they also come with health issues. So if you're experiencing like some weird joint pains, you have digestive issues, migraines, or anything else, that's what we're going to look at. That's what we're going to fix. And that's the blocks that we shift in the subconscious so that you can make so much more money, grow your business, and just live the happy and healthy life that you were put here for.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Don't disconnect until I tell you to. I'm gonna stop the recording. I always have to tell people that because I forgot to tell you before that. It has to do an uploading thing.
Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Radically Real. We will see you guys next time.